All right, everyone. Now we have a really funny story here. Link in the description, archived, of course. Donald Trump basically beat Jeff Bezos around the head. And it was really funny to see. What happened is there was a report that was sent out that Amazon was expecting to put labels on, its offerings on the site, it dealing with like, oh, here's the surcharge from Trump's tariffs. This is what you're paying extra because, well, sorry, but you're gonna have to pay extra because there are tariffs on this particular product. Amazon immediately upon Donald Trump apparently calling Jeff Bezos himself, literally calling him up on the little red phone, immediately came out with a commentary and said, "No, we're not planning to do that. It was considered briefly, but we're not actually going to do it. Don't worry too much." Oh man, I thought this was so funny. This has happened multiple times, by the way. Donald Trump is backing down a lot of people. And this is exactly what the goal of the tariffs is. And I've tried to explain it before, and a lot of people don't understand, including some people that are principled, like Rand Paul. These tariffs are not meant to be a permanent or lasting deal in any way, shape, or form. The entire purpose of the tariffs is to back other countries down, get them to reduce or remove the tariffs that they already have on us, asshole, because they literally do. And to do that, it's a method of economic reform. So the idea is that let's say you're pro free trade, and I am, and I know that Rand Paul and people like him are as well. Let's say that another country is tariffing you at 30% on certain goods, and you're not doing anything to respond. Is this free trade? No, of course not. They can enter your market, but you can't enter their market. Oh, great, you got cheap goods. That's wonderful. In other words, you deprived American workers of the possibility of gaining a job. That's basically the only thing that you've accomplished. Yeah, people can buy their lentil beans for 10 cents an ounce instead of 12 cents an ounce. That's great. The problem is that they don't have a job, so they can't afford to buy the goddamn lentils at all. That's the whole purpose of populism. And this is something that certain so-called principled libertarians are not understanding. Principled libertarians that believe in total unfettered free trade. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I believe there should be no tariffs at all on any good anywhere in the world. Everything should stand on its own merits. I believe in my country to be technologically and physically capable of competing with other countries. That's given. Okay. That being said, if other countries are protecting their markets against us, and we are not responding with reciprocal tariffs, we're simply being retarded. We're not being smart. And it's not free trade. It's free trade in one direction only. Okay, you can flood our markets with your cheap shit, but we're not allowed to invade your markets with our materials, which are superior, generally speaking, because the United States is technologically literate. That makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's called stupid trade. I think Donald Trump has used that moniker before. I find it sad because I like Rand Paul a lot. But then he comes out and says, "Well, I have the votes to stymie these tariffs and so forth." Why? Why would you want to do that? This is a temporary measure to back other countries down. It's not going to lead to a long-term trade war. All you have to do is hold the line long enough to put enough pressure under them, on top of them, and enough light under their feet, so to speak, to get them to back down. That's all you need to do. Nobody wants long-lasting tariffs on any country in the world. I don't even want a long-term tariff China. I simply want them to remove their tariffs on US goods because we have a trade imbalance. That's the entire point. Meanwhile, Jeff Bezos probably was the linchpin of this particular plan to begin with. He's a little bit of a snake in the grass, you will see. You'll see it in time. Don't worry about it. But then he comes out, he's forced to come out. And this shows the power of the Trump administration, by the way. He has to come out and say, no, 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 we're not going to do that. No, no, no. This was kind of sort of a suggestion, but we decided to axe it. We're never actually going to do this. Can you imagine the phone call between Trump and Bezos and how fucking hilarious it would have been? Oh man, to be a fly on the wall during that phone call would be absolutely goddamn hilarious. Bezos is like, hello. Trump's like, what the fuck are you doing? What? What are you talking about? You're trying to label products because they've been tariffed by my administration. Cut it the fuck out. Yes, Mr. President, I am sorry. Oh, it would have been hilarious. That's probably about how it went, by the way. Nobody wants to mess with Trump right now because he's on the goddamn warpath. And at least for several hundred more days, he has Congress on his side. Generally speaking, of course, minus some Rand Pauls and Thomas Massey's. Which is funny because some of the most principled people in Congress are the ones that are holding up the proceedings. Again, the political timeline right now has gone completely insane to the point where I'm a goddamn lunatic and I don't know what's going on half the time. Donald Trump is fundamentally right, though, in applying these tariffs. He's fundamentally right because other countries have already been doing that to us, in some cases for literal decades. All you have to do is enact a reciprocal tariff. Hey, if you're tariffing us at 10% on sorghum, we're going to tariff you at 10% on rice. You can remove your tariff and we'll remove ours at any time. It's perfectly fine by us. It means nothing to me. That's perfectly great. And in fact, we would prefer that. Until then, we're going to tariff your product. This is the way to do it because by putting pressure on other countries, you can get to the point where hopefully their tariffs are at the very least significantly reduced and at best, they're removed outright. You've had several countries that have already capitulated on this. That's because the United States is the world's largest economy and the world's largest net importer. It has disproportionate power when it comes to levying tariffs and so forth. I saw an article I'll be talking about on the live stream later. Jesus. And it was like adulating Woodrow goddamn Wilson, the dude who had a stroke in office and who wrecked everything, and whose wife was probably the one signing the papers for his last year in office. Razor Fist has rambled about him a number of times, and I don't blame him for this. And I'm going to ramble about your choice of pineapple on pizza, by the way. Woodrow Wilson, the tariff buster, and stuff like that. Well, yeah, that worked really well for the U.S. economy. Yeah, getting rid of tariffs and incepting an income tax. That wasn't necessarily duly ratified at all. That worked really, really well. When you get your income taxes later on, when you get that little form, are you happy with what you see? 90% of you are very, very unhappy with what you see. You can credit Woodrow Wilson with that. Yeah, Woodrow Wilson, the tariff buster. What a wonderful guy. Donald Trump is trying to go in the other direction. We could go back to a tariff-only system and get rid of the concept of the income tax. It is legally possible for us to do so. We could strike down I believe it was the 16th Amendment, get rid of it entirely, and move to a tariff system. It worked for us for 100 years, and then everything was perfectly fine other than the whole slave debate bullshit and things like that. Things seem to be moving pretty well. Trump can actually accomplish this. This is something that, assuming that the will of Congress is there, could actually work. But then again, of course, as with all dreams, this one must die. Because unfortunately, there are too many uniparty Republicans that will stand in the way. And then there are principled Republicans that I like Rand Paul, Massey, and people like that. I genuinely like them that will stand in the way due to ideological principle. Well, then you don't have the votes, unfortunately. It's, again, a huge problem. That's about all. Peace out.